Terence "Bud" Crawford, the best boxer in the world. He is pound for pound number one, undisputed in 2 weight divisions, the best switch hitter in the world with knockout power in both hands. And now he's chasing history once again, stepping up to challenge for a 3rd undisputed crown against the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez. This is the legendary career of Terence "Bud" Crawford. They said I wasn't good enough, and I just kept my head to the sky. I kept praying to God that I get the opportunity to show the world how great Terence Crawford is. And tonight, I believe I showed how great I am. The streets of Omaha, Nebraska, a city that never expected to produce a world champion. But out of these streets came Terence "Bud" Crawford, raised by a single mother on a street that years later would bear his name. That's where it all started. Me going in the street, putting on the gloves, me fighting in the alleys. As a boy, Crawford longed for affection that rarely came. While other kids spent their time playing video games, Crawford was fighting in the streets. He developed his toughness the hard way by going head-to-head with anyone, anywhere. Then came the turning point. In 2008, after leaving a late-night dice game in North Omaha, Crawford and his friends were caught between rival gangs. Gunfire erupted. A 9mm round shattered the glass of his car. The bullet tore past him, striking the side of his head just below the ear. It was God, because I wasn't the only one that got shot that night. A friend got shot, and it shattered his whole arm. I just got lucky. After surviving the streets of Omaha, Crawford threw himself into the professional ranks. The rise. From the moment he turned pro in 2008, there was no easing in. Fight after fight. Small venues, small purses, but big statements. His style was sharpening with every round. Patient, calculating, then sudden violence when the opening appeared. Crawford finally got his shot at a world title, the WBO lightweight crown against veteran Ricky Burns. But the opportunity came far from home, deep in enemy territory, Glasgow, Scotland. A hostile crowd roared for their champion. Every voice, every cheer against the man from Omaha. Crawford walked into the lion's den with everything stacked against him. But he imposed his will with superior boxing skills. He slipped past the jab, controlled the distance, and dictated the rhythm. Burns never found his footing. After 12 rounds of precision and control, the noise was gone. The arena fell silent. That night, Terence Crawford was crowned world champion for the very first time. The first Omaha-born and raised world champion. In his very next fight, Crawford returned home to Omaha for the first defense of his world title. The opponent was no tune-up, Yuriorkis Gamboa, an undefeated former Olympic gold medalist with blistering speed and pedigree. From the opening bell, Gamboa's speed was electric. For the first time, Crawford found himself under real pressure. But champions adjust. By round 5, Crawford broke through, dropping Gamboa with a sharp left hand. The crowd in Omaha erupted. In round 9, the fight reached its climax. Moments earlier, Crawford had been rocked. But instead of folding, Crawford bit down and answered with fury. Omaha erupted. Their champion had survived the scare and finished in ruthless style. 140 pounds. The path to undisputed. After conquering the lightweight division, Crawford's hunger only grew. The next mountain stood at 140 pounds. In April 2015, he announced his arrival in devastating fashion, claiming the WBO junior welterweight title. From there, every fight became a stepping stone toward history. Next up was the loudmouthed Hank Lundy from Philadelphia, a fighter who never missed a chance to talk. "I'm gonna break your will. You coming to the East Coast, homie. This ain't no game." In the build-up, Lundy promised to expose Crawford. But when the bell rang, the talking stopped. Crawford dropped him in the first round, and by round 5, it was over. In July 2016, Crawford faced Victor Postel, an undefeated champion many believed would be his toughest test. This wasn't just another title defense. It was a unification bout between the top two fighters in the division. The early rounds were cautious, but by the middle rounds, Crawford had solved the puzzle. He began switching stances, sliding in and out of range, dismantling Postel's rhythm piece by piece. Crawford cruised to a comfortable, unanimous decision, unifying the titles. But Crawford wasn't satisfied. He wanted them all. In August 2017, he met Julius Indongo, the IBF and WBA champion. Two men stepped into the ring, each carrying pieces of the crown. Only one would leave with everything. From the opening bell, Crawford made it clear this was his kingdom. He dropped Indongo multiple times with vicious body shots. That night, Terence "Bud" Crawford became the undisputed junior welterweight champion of the world. All four belts. One king. It was a historic moment. The first time in over a decade that a male fighter had unified a division, and the very first American to do it in the four-belt era. 147 pounds. The welterweight wars. Crawford's next mountain was the glamorous 147 division, boxing's marquee stage. Home to some of the sport's biggest names and deepest talent. But from the very beginning, he found himself on the outside looking in. In his first bout at 147, Crawford faced Australia's Jeff Horn, the man who had shocked the world by upsetting Manny Pacquiao. But against Crawford, none of it mattered. In the ninth round, Crawford broke Horn down completely. From here, Crawford went on a knockout streak that had greatness written all over it. Jose Benavidez Jr., Amir Khan, Egidijus Kavaliauskas, Kell Brook. One by one, they fell. With a 5-fight knockout streak at welterweight and having cleared out everyone on his side of the street, Crawford was finally handed a challenge from the other side. That challenge came in the form of Shawn Porter, a former world champion, a relentless pressure fighter, one of the most respected names in the division. From the opening bell, Porter charged forward with relentless aggression, forcing Crawford to fight at a furious pace. Then came round 10. Porter lunged forward and Crawford answered with a crisp counter, dropping him to the canvas. Porter rose once more, but his father and trainer had seen enough. He stopped the fight. Terence Crawford became the first man ever to stop Shawn Porter. But there was still one name that mattered more than all the others, Errol Spence Jr. The fight was finally here. The clash to crown the #1 welterweight in the world. For the first time in the four-belt era, Undisputed was on the line at 147. Undefeated against undefeated. The best against the best. For Terence Crawford, victory would mean more than history. It would cement him as the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world. From the opening bell, the tension was electric. Spence came forward, trying to impose his usual pressure. But it didn't take long for Bud to seize control. In round 2, Crawford timed Spence with a sharp right hand that dropped him to the canvas for the first time in his career. From that moment, Crawford dismantled him. His jab became a weapon. Every counter landed clean. Spence, normally the bully, looked helpless against Crawford's precision. Round 7 told the story. Crawford floored Spence twice in the same round. By the 9th, the beating had become too much. Crawford unleashed another barrage, forcing the referee to step in and wave it off. Terence "Bud" Crawford had done the unthinkable. The first man in history to become undisputed champion in 2 weight divisions in the four-belt era. Undefeated, undisputed. The new pound-for-pound king of boxing. The pursuit of greatness. They tried to blackball me. They kept me out. They talked bad about me. They said I wasn't good enough. I couldn't beat these top welterweights. And I just kept my head to the sky and I kept praying to God that I get the opportunity to show the world how great Terence Crawford is. And tonight, I believe I showed how great I am. With nothing left to prove, Crawford set his sights on new territory, the 154-pound division. Standing across from him was Israel Madrimov, the unbeaten champion known as The Dream. Crawford was handed another shot at history. a chance to claim a world title in yet another weight class. For the first few rounds, the fight was tense. Madrimov's speed and movement gave Crawford problems. But Crawford is nothing if not patient. By the middle frames, he began to chip away. In round 9, the momentum had fully shifted. By the championship rounds, the difference in experience was on full display. Crawford won a hard-fought decision, another world title in another weight class. A historic night for Terence Crawford. The final challenge. But the journey isn't over. The biggest fight in boxing still awaits. A showdown with another modern great, Canelo Alvarez. Crawford will climb 2 full divisions, stepping into the super middleweight arena to challenge for Canelo's 4 world titles. Somebody was in the room saying that I was scared of him, so I stepped to him and showed him who was the boss of this fight. It will be a night for history, a night where legacy meets destiny. The question remains, can Terence Crawford pull off the impossible? From the streets of Omaha to the pinnacle of boxing greatness. From surviving gunfire to conquering 3 weight divisions. From being overlooked and doubted to becoming the pound-for-pound best fighter on the planet. This is Terence Bud Crawford, a fighter who refused to be denied, a champion who proved everyone wrong, and a legend still writing his story. I ain't scared of nothing, and you going to find that out.